This fishing card technically termed a pop-out rather than a pop-up, but still works beautifully and great for anyone who enjoys their fishing. So the same formula, same old, cover on the front, and we've got our inside here, and there's a few little guidelines to work with here to show you. Now I've cut out as ever all my elements, and there's just one thing to note. Everything's usually fairly straightforward. There's no real surprises on any of this, but on this one there's just one little word of caution to point out to you, is that when we cut this one, you'll notice there's a red line. There's a white line down here where the logs are, and then there's a red line here, and you just got to make sure that you've cut into there. Okay, so once that's done, we're ready to actually put that on here and mount everything up. Now you'll notice that we've got a couple of lines on there, and these just really are guidelines to help us to put this down. So we've got our 2 feet at the bottom there and this part here, so I'm simply going to fold those down, line that up there like so, and then fold this back, and that lines up with the top line over here, and just move it slightly to one side because we've got a fisherman coming here, so we don't want it sticking right out, but a little bit towards the edge there is fine. You don't have to put the fisherman in if you don't want to, and we'll look at that in a moment. And we can assemble this whole thing flat just like that, and it'll pop out really nicely. Okay, I've glued all the feet, and with everything ready to go, we're simply going to line it all up on our lines down here. And I'm going to put, on this one there's only one, but on your finished one there'll be 2, just to help you square it all up, because it's really hard to work out otherwise if it's square. Now I've done this totally flat. Remember, I've got a crease line in the middle already. Whoops, let's give that a little bit more stick. So as we open up, you can see now how that comes forward, like so, and that's the basis for our pontoon from which he can fish off of. And then when we fold it flat, that's the way that it's going to go, that away. But it should in theory always lie flat when it's open, so that's quite a nice way of I find it easier, to be honest, putting it together. So there we go, that's our first part there. We've got our fishing pontoons. We're ready to now put the fishing box and the other ancillaries on. Okay, the next element to put on here is the tackle box. And what I'm going to do is just put this down, and you'll see there's a white line on the jetty. I'm going to line that up there, and I'm just going to have it slightly hanging over. It just adds a little bit of more sort of dynamics to it. And I've just put on my tab there, a bit of glue onto there, and we can see the fold line just lining up with another line there. Once you've got that down, the next thing to do is put the back on, and that just lines up with the box here. And just to keep it square, you see the white line, and actually nicely the top of the jetty is really where that one goes. It's not too essential, and the top part is free to flap around there like so, and then this will just come down now flat on those tabs and glue like so. And now when we open it, you can see the fishing tackle box opens, and we get that nice top to it, and the lid there is just free to flap about, but because the way the constraints of the card, that will just stay as is, like so. And there we go, and I said I've just put that just slightly coming off the jetty there, just makes it look a little bit more exciting. So we've got some other elements we can put on here, one of which is the Fisherman, and it's this chappy here. So what I'm going to do is just glue the tab there and put it onto that line. Again, lots of glue just to hold it. And he sits roughly here. If I just bend him back, you can see the way the white line is. I'm just going to put him onto there. Just tuck his feet in underneath. And just stick that down like so. I'm sort of pulling it back, hopefully you can see it, but I realise you probably can't see the white line there. Just making sure everything's within that area. Now we've got a little tag to put on him. Now I think your one, I've done this in grass, but I think on the finished one you'll get that in blue for blue of the sky. It really doesn't matter because it's not going to show that there is some grass behind him. It's a little bit higher. The beauty of this is that you won't see that. Now we can kind of pull him. I'm going to pull everything forward just so that you can see it. That goes onto there like so. It's our usual fare, and then just pull that back like that, and then that will just stick down on there. So as we pull forward, so you can see he's sitting forward like that. Another way, if you want to, which is easier, I'm just trying to show you how it's constructed, is to just put him on there and then just stick it that way. But I think if we go with it out flat like this and then hold that on into position like so and push it down, it's probably a bit easier to make. And then as we open up, watch out for stray glue, you'll see that he rises like that. We've got this lovely fisherman sitting there as well. Now with his float we can actually just bend that, put a little bit of glue onto it, and again just position that in the water approximately a centimetre away from the riverbank there, so that as he rises up his rod is in the water as well. Let me show you that. There we go. So as he rises up, that's just sitting in the water. There we go. So we've got some other elements now to put on, and these are just what I call placement really. I've got a net here with a fish on it, so I'm just going to put a bit of glue on that. Pin this down, it's just a bit easier. So a bit of glue on there, just keep that so it can just slot behind there if you want it to. Just have the handle there. Could make the handle a little bit shorter. Now the handle's a wee bit long, so I'm just going to chop that off and just re-glue it to about here. Actually, I had a little bit of an accident with the glue. You can see where it's stuck. So if I just clip that and put that on, and that just looks like it's part of it. And then we've got a fish. We've got a nice salmon just sort of resting there. Let's have him sitting, or trout rather, I think that might be a rainbow trout, just sitting on the net there. Again, just check everything's working. It should do. Nothing sticking out of our frame, so that's good. And last but not least, I've got this rather nice pike coming out the water, ready to eat the catch from our sleeping fisherman. Now I've got a nice pike here to put, ready to eat that trout from the sleeping fisherman. So I'm just going to line that up there onto that point of the line. I've got the tab here. I've got the tab to put on him. That's just going to rest. I've glued that. That's just going to rest up here, just a little bit above him there. Lies flat like that. So when I put the card over, give that a bit of squeeze. And if you can see here, I'm going to just cheat and hold the towel a bit there, just to put a bit of squash on him. And that will pull up. And there we go, a fantastic card for anyone who enjoys fishing. And again, you can customize this, you can add bits to it, you can accessorize it, you can add extra little bits if you want to around it. You don't have to have the fisherman in there. It really is up to you, and that's the beauty of these cards. You kind of make it your way, but I do think it's rather nice, isn't it? That sleeping fisherman, and we've got his catch of the day about to disappear in the mouth of a hungry trout there. So it really is a fun pop-up, this one. Or technical term is actually a pop-out, because they pop out rather than pop up. But I do love these cards. They fold flat, and wow, lovely cover to it as well. And then whoosh, brilliant surprise inside. So have fun making this. They look more complicated than they are. They really are nice and simple. So we're working flat on here and everything just falls into position. So I really don't think you'll have too much trouble at all. Last reminder is just look out for those little red cut lines here on the post. That's the only thing to watch out for, and you'll be absolutely fine with this card.